Because after the assembling of the spacesuit, they still have to test the functionality of the suit and see if all the devices on the suit is working well. They might also put on the spacesuit later to check if it fits and also adjust its size according to their physical conditions. And also they will need to test the communication devices between the spaceship and the spacesuit. Zhai Zhigang is currently communicating with the ground command center, reporting the results of his checkups and other data. After he's told the command center his examination results, the command center will need to make some calculations and tell him further instructions on what to do next. Zhai Zhigang has assembled a spacesuit, and another spacesuit will be assembled and tested later. The spacesuit also has to communicate very well with the ground command center as well as the spaceship itself.
曙光，下面开始进行有限数据传输检查。
曙光明白。
And now there is some data relay from the spacecraft to the ground center. The data relay between the spacesuit and the command center and the spacecraft has a wire communication system and a wireless communication system. Therefore, they have to test twice. They have to test both systems. It's a very complicated job. They're also checking the quality of voices and images between the sky and the earth. They can hear each other pretty clearly right now. This shows that China's spaceflight technology has reached international standards. When they were assembling the spacesuits today, the two astronauts that will perform spacewalk and the change of module, they assembled and tested the spacesuit that they're going to wear. The simulation shows a data relay from the spacecraft to the control and command center on the ground, and also all the observation stations spread out across China. Therefore, the staff working on the ground will analyze these results and check if everything is operating smoothly inside the spaceship based on these data. Because the astronauts inside the spaceship has a first-hand information and feeling about the conditions inside the spaceship, and all the information that they want to send to the ground station will be transmitted through the system.
渭南跟踪开始。
The ground command computer screens will show the real-time data relating to different parameters inside the spacecraft. The spacesuits has a self-examination capability, but the astronauts will have to check them again by hand. And the ground station will remind them if they've missed any parts that they have to check and give them directions. All the planned functions and installed devices on the spacesuits must function well before they conduct the EVA.
喀什跟踪结束。
From the images, we can only see a small part of the spacesuits.
青岛跟踪开始。
The white-colored spacesuit is Feitian, the one indigenously made in China, and the cream-color one is made in Russia. The monitoring devices inside the spacecraft will record the results of the testing of the spacesuits by the astronauts, and the data will also be transmitted to the ground control centers and observation stations for comprehensive analysis. It won't take much longer until we can say that the two spacesuits are ready for the EVA, and all the items on the spacesuits are working well. The two astronauts completed the assembling of the two spacesuits today according to schedule. They've done pretty well. That shows that our astronauts are very qualified to perform their tasks inside the spaceship. Therefore, it has proven that their training has been very effective, and they have adapted into this environment very well. These are all to ensure that all the planned missions are completed according to the initial schedule.
So we have been looking at live video feeds coming out of the third manned space mission of China, Shenzhou 7. We have been looking at image of astronaut Zhai Zhigang, who is now in the orbital module, and his co-astronaut Jing Haipeng, who is state in the re-entry module doing all kinds of work as they prepare for the much anticipated spacewalk, or EVA, China's first, which is scheduled 4:30 in the afternoon tomorrow, Beijing time. That is 4:30 tomorrow in the afternoon, Beijing time. We're looking at the exterior of Shenzhou 7, I believe, this picture.